During our wedding anniversary dinner, my wife said, "I'm not your property. I want to open up our marriage." She kissed my best friend and left with him. I changed the locks and started divorce proceedings. A week later, I had 156 missed calls from her. My daughter exclaimed, "It's her house too. You have to let mom in. She's pregnant and has health issues because of her choices. You have to save your child." They didn't know I had a vasectomy, so I went nuclear. I saw it first with her bright red lipstick shining under the chandeliers. Rebecca had never worn anything so bold before, not until recently when she decided to show off. It was our 10th wedding anniversary dinner in my parents' spacious dining room, surrounded by our families in their suburban home just outside the city. Her mother was perched next to Rebecca, shoulders stiff, eyes scanning the room as if looking for the slightest mistake I could make. My mother bustled around the pot roast, and the rest of my relatives chatted politely. Tension crackled in the air. "Do not touch the napkins," Rebecca snapped, adjusting them to her aesthetic preferences. "I am trying to make sure everything is perfect." I forced a smile. "It is already perfect, Rebecca," I muttered, not wanting to argue before we even sat down. She huffed, rolling her eyes as if I were too stupid to see that nothing was perfect. "We need a big family gathering to celebrate," she had insisted, flashing a secret smile at her mother. I suspected she was plotting something, but I never imagined how far it would go. Her mother, Patricia, wore a smug little smile, sipping her wine. "You know, Rebecca," she said loudly enough for everyone to hear, "sometimes you have to shake things up to keep a marriage interesting. Do not let him lock you in a cage." It was Patricia's usual insinuation that I was a controlling husband, a tyrant locking up her precious daughter. "I do not lock her in a cage," I said, forcing a laugh. "She comes and goes as she pleases." Rebecca's sister, Stephanie, smiled like a cat. "So that is why you still have not had another child, because she is too busy with her own life, or you are too busy with yours." A low blow. Considering we only had one child, a daughter named Qley, I swallowed my retort, glancing at my father, who was cutting his steak and pretending nothing was happening. He hated drama and rarely spoke out against Patricia's jabs, figuring it was best not to rub salt in the wound. The meal continued in fits and starts. Forks clinked, forced laughter occasionally erupted, but the underlying tension never subsided. At one point, Rebecca and Patricia exchanged a nod, as if deciding this was the perfect moment to drop a bomb. When the chocolate cake arrived, Rebecca stood up, glass in hand. "I have an announcement to make." She shot me a look, her red lipstick curving into a cold smile. "I hope you will all support me in my decision." My mother set down the cake knife, her brow furrowed. "What decision, my dear?" Rebecca tilted her head, beaming with arrogance. "I have realized something. For years, I have felt stifled, underappreciated." She gestured toward me with undisguised disdain. "Brian does not fulfill my needs, emotionally or otherwise." My jaw clenched, but I stayed silent. She had a flair for drama, but announcing marital problems at an anniversary dinner in front of both families was a new low. Absolute silence reigned around the table. Patricia's smug face lit up, as if proud of her daughter's audacity. Rebecca raised her chin. "I have decided I want an open marriage. I want to see other men. I am not divorcing you, Brian, but I need freedom to explore." She paused, letting the shock settle in the room. "You owe me at least that much for the neglect I have endured." My mother's eyes widened in horror. My father choked on his drink. Patricia reached out, patting Rebecca's arm. "Yes, honey, that is very brave of you," she said loudly. "Do not let him keep you from being happy." I felt my cheeks burn. "Have you lost your mind?" I muttered, trying to keep my cool. "This is how you celebrate our anniversary, by telling our families you want other men." She shrugged, her expression unapologetic. "I waited for you to give me what I needed. I tried subtlety, Brian, but you never noticed. So here it is, we are putting the truth on the table. At least now you cannot ignore me." Patricia clicked her tongue. "You see, he still ignores you." "I told you so, Rebecca." My mother finally found her voice. "Rebecca, sweetie, I mean, an open marriage is such a personal matter. Are you sure you want to discuss it in front of everyone?" Rebecca shot her a dismissive glare. "I am tired of secrets. If I do not speak my truth, no one will know what he is really like. He only cares about his job, money, and his precious image. He never looks at me the way I deserve." I fought the urge to flip the table. And you think seeing other men will fix that? I hissed. Patricia waved a hand. Oh, shut up, Brian. You brought this on yourself. If you had paid attention to her, she would not be looking elsewhere. My father cleared his throat. This is neither the time nor the place, he said quietly, trying to ease the tension, but Rebecca refused to be silenced. I am tired of the old rules. I want an open relationship, she repeated coldly. And if you do not like it, then maybe you should leave. I clenched my fists. Maybe I will. Her sister Stephanie sipped her wine, eyes sparkling with cruel amusement. Well, this dinner just got interesting. My mother shot me a pleading look, silently urging me to calm down, but I had had enough. Rebecca was humiliating me in front of everyone, revealing her plan to pursue relationships with other men. Yes, that was the bitter thought crossing my mind, and she expected me to nod and smile. Are you proud of yourself? I asked, standing up so fast my chair scraped the floor. You wanted a scene, Rebecca. Congratulations, you got it. She sipped her drink impassively. Do not play the victim, Brian. You neglected me for years. I deserve attention. Patricia interrupted. He has always been self-centered. Rebecca, do what you have to do. I will support you. That was too much. I looked around the table at my parents' horrified faces, Rebecca's triumphant smile, Patricia's smug nod, and I snapped. Fine. Enjoy your openness. I am done. I stormed out, ignoring my mother's protests, ignoring the shocked silence of the others. My car keys jingled in my pocket as I drove off into the night in my sedan. Fury boiled in my veins, mixing with a sickening sense of betrayal. She had turned our anniversary into a carnival of humiliation. She wanted me to stay and watch her with other men. No way. That night, I did not go home. I slept in my car in a random parking lot, my mind seething with rage and confusion. By sunrise, I had made a decision. I was going to file for divorce. If she wanted an open marriage, she could have it all by herself. I called my lawyer, an old friend named Jonathan, the next morning. I want out, I said, my voice still rough from lack of sleep. She humiliated me in front of my family, said she wanted multiple partners. I am done. He sighed. That is tough, man. Let us start the paperwork. Are you sure you do not want to talk it out first? Talk it out. I almost laughed. She blindsided me at a family dinner. She thinks she can do better. Let her try. We discussed the assets. We had a house with a mortgage, joint bank accounts, and a single daughter, Qley, who was currently in college. She was 19, living in the dorms on campus. My mind raced at the thought of how Qley would take the news of her mother's meltdown. But for now, I focused on the legal angle. Meanwhile, Rebecca's messages flooded in. A mix of arrogance and anger. You ran away like a coward. Typical. If you ever loved me, you would understand my needs. Do not you dare file for divorce, you will regret it. I ignored them, letting my phone vibrate until it died. She threatened to ruin me socially, but I doubted she had any real power beyond Patricia's scheming. On the third day, I stopped by the house to grab some clothes. She was there, waiting with her mother. Patricia crossed her arms, glaring at me. Look who decided to come crawling back. Rebecca leaned against the wall, tapping her manicured nails. Are you done pouting? I am done with you, Rebecca, I repeated in a cold voice. I am filing for divorce. She scoffed. Over a little request for freedom? Grow up. Patricia nudged her. He has always been too rigid, sweetie. Do not worry, we will handle him. I shuddered. No, you will not. I am leaving. And God help me, I will see you in court if you try anything. Rebecca smiled, crossing her arms under her chest. You think you can threaten me? This is our house too. We both put money into it. I did not bother replying. I just went into the bedroom, grabbed my suitcase, and stormed out. Patricia called after me. You never gave her the love she deserved. This is your fault. I did not look back. Weeks passed. An agonizing limbo of legal forms and stifled fury. Rebecca posted pictures of herself at clubs on social media, draped over questionable-looking men. Patricia bragged to the neighbors that her daughter was finally free of that controlling jerk. My parents were mortified. My father told me not to stoop to their level, and I tried to follow his advice. But inside, I was seething. Rebecca had turned a once-loving marriage into a spectacle. I knew I had flaws. I worked too much at the office, was not always attentive. But no matter how I replayed the scene, her solution, Publicly announcing she wanted other men felt like a knife in the back. Our daughter Kayla called me from college, confused. Dad, Mom says you are divorcing her because she wanted to broaden your horizons. She is making you out to be the bad guy. I sighed, rubbing my temples. Kayla, your mother blindsided me in front of everyone, demanding an open marriage. I have no interest in that. She let out a long breath. That is so weird. She never mentioned it to me. Are you sure you cannot forgive her? My voice grew sharp. Forgive her for humiliating me, for insisting she pursue relationships outside our marriage, and that I accept it. Kayla hesitated. I am not taking sides, Dad. I just hope you handle this calmly. Mom is letting Grandma Patricia blow this out of proportion. I clenched my jaw. Patricia's scheming is toxic. Stay out of it, Kayla. Focus on school. This is between your mother and me. Kayla went silent, then said softly, Okay, Dad, just do not do anything you will regret. We hung up, and I tried to bury myself in work. The nights blended together, and every day brought me closer to finalizing the divorce. There was no way I was staying chained to Rebecca's twisted fantasy. A pivotal moment came when my lawyer asked if I had reason to suspect infidelity before her open marriage declaration. I admitted I had no solid proof, but I was sure something was off. She had been too eager, too sudden. But it did not matter much. We lived in a no-fault divorce state. Her betrayal would only impact negotiations if I wanted to play dirty. I was not above playing dirty. I wanted to keep my share of what I had earned. As the legal wheels turned, I discovered something else. Rebecca and Patricia were spinning a story that I had abandoned her, that I had always been emotionally abusive, controlling. Rebecca insisted she asked for an open marriage because she felt trapped, unloved. Some neighbors believed her, others rolled their eyes. My parents were devastated. One evening, I found Rebecca waiting outside my parents' house. She walked up to me, eyes blazing. Sign the settlement papers, she demanded, shoving them against my chest. I skimmed through them. She wanted half the house, half my savings, and monthly spousal support. You are crazy, I said. We barely have anything left on the mortgage. Why should you get half my savings? I earn most of it. She flipped her hair. Because you forced me into a dead marriage. Now I need a new life. Mom says I deserve compensation. I laughed bitterly. You want to pursue relationships with other men, and then you want me to foot the bill? Dream on. Patricia appeared, stepping out of the car. You will sign, or we will drag you to court. You neglected her. She gave you everything, and you gave her nothing. I glared at them, furious. You are both insane. Rebecca's lips curled. You always wanted to be the strong man. Pay up, or watch me tear your reputation to shreds. I shoved the papers back at her. See you in court, Rebecca. She glared at me, snatching them back. Do not say I did not warn you. You are making this ugly. I went inside, my heart pounding. My mother, who had overheard, placed a hand on my arm. Stay calm, son. She is playing dirty. I forced a nod. I will not let them take everything. I worked too hard. The divorce hearing finally arrived. Rebecca showed up in an elegant black dress, Patricia right behind her. My lawyer and I sat grimly at a table. She recited her tearful story about how she had been neglected, starved of affection, forced to consider an open marriage as a last resort. Patricia backed her up, calling me controlling and cruel. I ground my teeth, wanting to fire back, but my lawyer spoke in a measured tone, reminding the court that Rebecca's needs included humiliating me at a family gathering. That did not exactly support her narrative of desperation. In the end, the judge ruled that we would sell the house, split the proceeds, and finalize the divorce. I would pay minimal spousal support for a short period, just enough for Rebecca to get back on her feet. I thought it was more than she deserved, but at least she was not getting half my life savings. Patricia shot me a venomous look as we walked out. Rebecca stormed off, refusing eye contact. It should have been over. We were done, free of each other. But life had more twisted drama in store. Months passed. I moved into a small townhouse with minimal furniture. My days were quiet. Work at the office, gym, sleep. I refused to even think about dating. Kayla visited occasionally, carefully avoiding mentioning Rebecca. I felt she was torn between love for her mother and exasperation at her mother's choices. I did not push it. Then, out of nowhere, a call came from a number I did not recognize. I answered and heard Rebecca's voice, shaky and frantic. Brian, I need money. My blood ran cold. Are you kidding me? Her tone hardened. It is serious. I need help with medical treatment. It is a condition I contracted. She paused, her breathing ragged. Look, I just need money. Health insurance does not cover everything, and Mom cannot pay the bill right now. I let out a humorless laugh. You are calling me because your choices left you with this condition, and you think I am going to pay for it. She snapped. Do not be cruel. You know how expensive these treatments are. I made mistakes, okay? I was not as careful as I should have been. A wave of disgust washed over me. So, you pursue relationships with other men, end up in this situation, and now you expect me to dish out cash? No way. She raised her voice. You owe me this. You neglected me for years, pushed me to find comfort elsewhere. I almost crushed my phone in my hand. I do not owe you anything. We are divorced. You wanted to be free. You got it. Rebecca let out a trembling breath. Fine. Watch me suffer then. Heartless bastard. I thought you had an ounce of decency. I sneered. Decency? Like announcing you wanted an open marriage at our anniversary dinner? That kind of decency. She went silent, then hung up. I stood there, my heart racing. The nerve she had. Did she think I had forgotten how she humiliated me? That I would swoop in like a savior for her situation? Not in this lifetime. But that was not the end. The next day, she showed up at my townhouse door unannounced. She looked exhausted, with dark circles under her eyes, her hair messy. Patricia hovered behind her, arms crossed, face twisted with contempt. Rebecca knocked hard. Brian, open up, she demanded. I opened the door a crack. What do you want? She tried to push past me. Let me in. We need to talk. I blocked the entrance. Talk about your condition? I already said no. Patricia chimed in. You pig. You cannot even help her when she is sick. You are a sorry excuse for a man. I gritted my teeth. I do not pay for her mistakes. Rebecca's eyes filled with tears. Crocodile tears, I thought. Just let me in, she whispered. I am not leaving until you do. Exasperated, I pulled the door wide open, stepping back. 5 minutes, then get out. She walked in, scanning my bare living room. Patricia followed, scoffing at the Spartan decor. This is where you live now, she said. Pathetic. I ignored her. What is so urgent? Rebecca swallowed hard, looking down. I tested positive for a condition. My insurance covers some treatments, but not the full course. It is expensive. My mother cannot bear the whole financial burden. Patricia hissed. He has money. He should pay. I stared at them, outraged. You want me to fund your mistakes? Rebecca's cheeks flushed. I would not ask if it was not serious. I crossed my arms. Serious? Like the public humiliation you inflicted on me. How serious was that? Her voice broke. Fine. I know I messed up. But this is my health. You cannot let me suffer. Patricia pointed a bony finger at me. This is your fault. If you had been a real husband, she never would have looked for other men. I let out a bitter laugh. Keep telling yourselves that. Now both of you get out. Rebecca's tears dried instantly. So you are really not going to help? Not a dime, I said flatly. She glared at me. You will regret this. I doubt it. I opened the door, and they stomped out. Rebecca cast one last desperate glance over her shoulder, but I refused to bend. She wanted to be free. She got her wish. The next morning, I got a call from Qley. I answered, expecting a normal conversation, but her voice was strained. Dad, you have to help Mom. I pinched the bridge of my nose. Let me guess. She cried to you about her condition? Qley sighed. Yes, and it is worse. She says she might have another problem. She is pregnant. A strange numbness washed over me. Yes, Qley said. She claims it might be yours. I burst out laughing. A cold, joyless sound. Mine? That is impossible. Qley's voice rose. She is convinced you guys were together at some point during the separation. I cut her off. We were not. And even if we had been, I got a vasectomy years ago. So that baby is definitely not mine. Silence. Then a soft what? From Qley. I shrugged, even though she could not see me. I made that decision a while ago. Before all this chaos. Rebecca does not know because we were drifting apart. I never told her, but I got a vasectomy after you were born. So if she is pregnant, I am not the father. Qley took a deep breath. Dad, are you sure? Yes, I said firmly. I have the paperwork, the tests, everything. It does not reverse itself on its own. She is lying or delusional. Qley exhaled shakily. Then she is, Dad. She is losing her mind. She is telling me you have to take her back, that you owe her this. She insists the baby is yours. A spark of fury flashed through me. She can insist all she wants. I know the truth. Kayla mumbled something unintelligible. So, you are not helping her at all. I winced. Kayla, she humiliated me, demanded an open marriage, left me with a pile of legal nonsense, and now claims a baby is mine when it is not. She wants money for her condition. It is her fault. I love you, kiddo, but I will not be manipulated. Kayla's voice trembled. I'm not trying to manipulate you. I just do not want Mom to spiral any lower. I closed my eyes. It is her choice. I am done. Let her see that the path she took leads to consequences. Kayla choked back tears. You guys were so happy before. Now it is like you are strangers. I felt a pang of regret. Sometimes people change. I am sorry, Kayla, but I cannot fix her mess. She sniffled. I understand. Maybe just. Do not slam the door if she is truly desperate. I did not say anything. After a pause, Kayla said goodbye, and we hung up. My anger flared at Rebecca's absurd claim. She was pregnant, wanted me to take her back, to pay her medical bills, to fix everything. She had made me out to be the villain for years, but now she needed me. Too bad, I thought. That night, Rebecca reappeared alone. No Patricia, no dramatic flair. Just her, standing in the cold outside my townhouse. We need to talk, she said in a subdued voice. I almost slammed the door in her face, but curiosity piqued me. About what? Another extortion attempt. She bit her lip. I am pregnant. I raised an eyebrow. That is what I heard. She inhaled sharply. It is yours. I could not help a malicious smile. Good luck proving that. Her voice wavered. Brian, we were together a few times before we split up. Remember? Do not you even remember? It could have happened then. I counted the weeks. I cut her off. I got a vasectomy after Kayla, so you are lying. She looked stunned for a moment, then recovered. That is impossible. How dare you hide that from me? I shrugged, feigning indifference. I did not see the need to share. We were drifting apart. If you were really pregnant with my child, it would have happened years ago. But now? Not a chance. Her lip trembled. You are lying. Show me the proof. I glared at her. I do not owe you anything. Get off my porch. Her eyes filled with tears. Brian, I am scared. I have this condition. I am pregnant. My mother does not have enough money to cover everything. And now you are telling me you cannot be the father. Do you know what that means for me? I crossed my arms. It means you are carrying another man's child. It means you messed up. Not my problem. She let out a broken sob. This is all because you neglected me. I made mistakes, but you drove me to it. I tried to talk to you, but you were always busy, always ignoring me. If you had just loved me, none of this would have happened. A pang of guilt stirred. Maybe I had neglected her, but that did not justify her actions. Now you blame me? You humiliated me at our anniversary, demanding I let you see other men. Do not put this on me, Rebecca. You made a choice. Her tears kept falling. And you are making a choice now to abandon me again. You are so heartless. I pointed toward the street. I am not your savior. Go find your baby's real father. Maybe he will pay for your treatments. She shook her head slowly, tears falling onto her blouse. I hate you, Brian. Of course you do, I said, holding the door. Now get out. She finally turned away, her shoulders shaking as she hurried down the path. I locked the door, my chest tight. Part of me felt a twisted satisfaction seeing her break down. Another part felt sick. We had been in love once. Now she was desperate, and I was the cold villain. Maybe that was how it had to be. Days later, Patricia ambushed me in a grocery store aisle, hissing accusations under her breath. You vile creature. Rebecca is carrying your child, and you will not help her. You would let her suffer with this condition and no money. I grabbed a box of cereal, ignoring the stares of nearby shoppers. It is not my child, Patricia. Ask your precious daughter about the men she has been with. She poked my chest with a finger. You are a liar. She told me everything. How you were together one last time right before you left. That baby is yours. You were just running away. I felt my temper flare. I had a vasectomy. She never told you that part, huh? So whoever the father of that child is, it is not me. Patricia blinked, momentarily thrown off balance. You cannot be serious. I shrugged. Believe what you want. She sputtered. Well, It is your fault anyway. She never would have gone to other men if you had been a real husband. You will pay those medical bills out of guilt, if nothing else." I sneered. "Go to hell, Patricia. I am not paying for anything." She looked ready to slap me, but I just walked away, adrenaline coursing through my veins. Enough was enough. I was done letting them bully me. My daughter called again. Tense. "Dad, Grandma Patricia says you refused to help Mom and that it is your baby. She is lying, right? Because you said you had a vasectomy." I am confused. I sighed. "Yes, she is lying. Do not let yourself get dragged into their mess, Kayla. Focus on your life." She sounded on the verge of tears. "I wish none of this ever happened. Mom cries all the time. Grandma rants. You are shutting everyone out. I am stuck in the middle." I softened my voice. "I am sorry, Kayla, but your mom made her bed. I cannot fix this. She cannot blame me for her bad choices. If she has this condition and a baby on the way, she has to deal with it herself." Kayla whined. "Dad, she is my mother. I cannot just watch her self-destruct." A dull ache throbbed behind my eyes. "I understand, but I am not stepping in. I have no obligation. Legally, morally, I am done." She sniffled. "Okay. I love you, Dad. I love you too, Kayla." We ended the call, and I stared at the wall, fighting off the guilt. But I reminded myself that Rebecca had crossed every line. Her mother had fed her arrogance, and now they were reaping the consequences. A few days later, Rebecca sent me a dramatic message. "I am sick. I could lose the baby if I do not get better treatment. Please, Brian, do not let this happen." I read it over and over, my heart strangely heavy, even though it was not my child. A baby could be lost because she could not afford proper care. Was it really my responsibility? My whole being rebelled at the thought of letting an innocent life suffer for Rebecca's choices. But rationally, it was not my child. She had no claim on me. I replied with a short message. "Not my child, not my problem." Her response came in a flood of curses. "You are evil. You will burn for this." I turned off my phone, refusing to engage. One cold night, I came home from work to find Rebecca slumped on my doorstep, shivering. She looked pale, exhausted. My first instinct was to step over her, but a spark of concern made me pause. "Rebecca, what are you doing here?" She looked up, lips chapped. "I have nowhere to go. Mom had to leave town to handle a family crisis. I am alone, out of money, and I do not feel well. I have a fever. My next appointment is in 2 days, and I cannot even afford a motel." I clenched my jaw. "So, you thought you would camp out on my doorstep?" She gave a weak shrug. "I had nowhere else. The father, whoever he is not answering my calls." A pang of pity shot through me, but I pushed it down. "Do you have friends?" "No." "What about all those men you were seeing?" She let out a hollow laugh that turned into a cough. "They disappear the moment you need real help." I stared at her, exhaling. The old me might have helped her inside, given her a blanket. But we were past that. She had made me the villain, ruined our lives, and then demanded I clean up the fallout. "You cannot stay here," I said flatly. Her eyes widened in panic. "You would leave me outside?" "I am pregnant, Brian. Sick." My resolve almost wavered. But then I remembered every humiliating moment she had caused, telling my whole family she wanted other men, mocking me, demanding money for her self-inflicted problems. "Yes," I said coldly. "Now get up." She shivered. "I can barely stand." I grabbed my phone. "I am calling a cab." She flinched. "I cannot afford it." "Your problem," I cut in. "You refuse to leave on your own? I will call the police." Her face twisted in despair. "Heartless bastard, I hope you rot." I waved a dismissive hand, stepping inside. "Take care of yourself." She let out a cry of frustration, but finally she stumbled away, tripping down the block. I shut the door, my heart pounding. A storm of guilt and relief raged in my chest. I had turned my back on a pregnant and sick woman, someone I had once loved. But it was also the same person who had humiliated me, insisted on an open marriage, demanded money for her self-inflicted problems. My sympathy was limited. The final blow came 2 weeks later. I received a subpoena in the mail. Rebecca was demanding a paternity test, claiming I was the father. She wanted child support. My lawyer laughed when I showed him the proof of the vasectomy. "She is grasping at straws," he said. "Just show the court your medical records. That is it." So we did. We took the paternity test anyway. Letting the court see the negative result provided the proof of my vasectomy. Rebecca's claim collapsed. The judge reprimanded her for wasting the court's time. She looked devastated, trembling as the result was read. Patricia, behind her, glared at me. Outside, she confronted me with tears in her eyes, her voice thick with hatred. You always wanted to punish me, did not you? Now you got your wish. I shrugged. You punished yourself. Patricia spat. May you never know peace. You destroyed her life. I looked at her impassively. She destroyed ours first. Do not blame me for her reckless actions. Rebecca stumbled back, pressing a hand to her stomach. I cannot believe you would do this. I loved you once. I shook my head. I loved you too, Rebecca. But you threw it away when you announced you wanted an open marriage. Her eyes flashed. And you never asked why? You never cared to know. I did care, I said, bitterness lacing my words. But I am done now. Move on. She opened her mouth, then closed it, tears streaming down her cheeks. With one last tortured sob, she turned away. Patricia rushed to support her, shooting me one last venomous look. I walked away, every step heavier than the last, but also strangely liberating. We were done, truly done, with no illusions left. If I was the villain, so be it. She had a new life inside her, an unknown father, a condition to treat, and no money from me. I felt relief knowing I would no longer be dragged into her chaos. My daughter called that evening, her voice trembling. Dad, I heard about the test. Mom is hysterical. Grandma is cursing your name. Are you okay? I let out a breath. I am fine, Kayla. It is over. I am not the father. There is nothing else to say. She swallowed hard. Yeah, I guess not. I tried to soften my tone. I am sorry all this happened. I know you love your mother. She sniffled. I love her, but I cannot defend her anymore. She lied to me. Tried to make me believe you were the bad guy. I am mad at her, Dad. I closed my eyes. You do not have to pick a side. She is still your mother. Kayla let out a shaky sigh. I know, but I cannot support the way she acted. She lost everything. I am afraid she will end up alone. I had no comforting answer. It is up to her to figure it out. Maybe she will learn from this. Kayla said a quiet goodbye, and that was it. Weeks later, I heard from mutual acquaintances that Rebecca had left town, probably to start over fresh. She gave birth in a faraway hospital. The baby survived, though rumors suggested Rebecca's condition had complicated things. She refused to say who the father was, and Patricia eventually followed her. I never saw them again, nor heard from them. Our daughter sometimes mentioned her mother in passing, but never in much detail. I assumed Patricia was still ranting against me, blaming me for everything. Maybe Rebecca was still spinning tearful stories about how I had neglected her. I had accepted my role as the villain in their eyes, but this was the final, sober truth. She had tried to claim I fathered a child, demanded money for her condition, and expected me to save her after shattering my dignity. Life was not a soap opera where I would come crawling back. She had realized it too late, and so I stood on my porch one evening, watching the sunset with a dark satisfaction. I had learned a hard lesson about relationships, trust, and how quickly love can turn into something ugly. Rebecca had played her part, Patricia had fed her arrogance, and I had become the cold, vengeful husband who refused to save her when her fantasies crumbled. Some might say I was heartless. Others would argue I had simply dealt poetic justice. In the end, neither view mattered. What mattered was that I had broken the open marriage. She had gotten her freedom with complications, an unknown father for her baby, and an empty bank account. I went back inside my small townhouse, locked the door, and felt a strange sense of peace. My life was quiet, lonely sometimes, but honest. I preferred to be alone than chained to a toxic fantasy. If that meant I would forever be the villain in her story, so be it. I knew the truth. I had loved her once, but she had chosen another path. Now she had to walk it alone. And if she ever tried to come crawling back, demanding money, claiming ties that did not exist, I would do exactly what I had done before, laugh at the absurdity and slam the door in her face. Because I had made my choice too, and I was not looking back. Comment. Hey everyone, stories like this always make me pause and reflect on what really matters in life. I believe self-respect is one of the most important things we can practice. Setting clear boundaries isn't selfish. It's necessary for healthy relationships. Taking responsibility for our own choices helps us grow stronger. Being kind to others doesn't mean we have to accept things that hurt us. True healing often begins the moment we choose peace over endless drama. I hope this reminds you to protect your heart and your energy every day. You deserve relationships that bring you calm instead of chaos. Choosing yourself is sometimes the most loving decision you can make. Thank you for watching and for reflecting on these lessons with me.
Thank you for taking the time to watch and support our channel. It just means a lot to us.